this is Molly. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Purpose, where we talk about just that. What is our purpose on this planet? Why are we even here? And if you've been following along with me, you know what I think. I think our entire reason for being on this planet is to love God more and more every day and to love each other. And that sounds like the easiest thing in the world to do. It's not. At least it's not for me. So God knew it would be tough, and He left us the Bible. He left us directions so we can follow other people's examples. What did they do? What shouldn't they have done? You know, what should we do to learn to love God more and love each other? So we left off in Genesis chapter 4 with Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve's boys, and they were going to give God a gift, a sacrificial gift, something that they worked for and that was going to cost them a little bit in their time and their work. It wasn't easy to do, so that they could let God know that they love Him and that they care about Him. So Cain, the oldest of the boys, was a farmer. So he planted fruits and vegetables and crops. He took God an offering of fruit. So, maybe a basket of strawberries or something. That's what he does. He's a farmer. That's what he has to give. Abel gave God the firstlings of his flock. So it was the first lambs of the season or the first goats, whatever it was. And God just loved Abel's gift, loved it. Cain's gift, not so much. And Cain was mad, like spitting mad. And why wouldn't he be? I'd be mad, wouldn't you? I mean, what was wrong with his basket of fruit? It wasn't a lamb, it wasn't a goat. Okay, he doesn't raise goats and lambs. Why was Abel's gift better? Do we have to give bigger, fancier, more expensive gifts? Is fruit not fancy enough for God? Is it not expensive enough of a present? God knows what's in our heart, and that can be really scary for me sometimes, that He knows what's in my heart. He knows if that's a sacrifice or not. Cain gave him an offering of fruit. Didn't say it was his first fruits. He probably had a whole bunch of fruit stored up for himself. He probably had strawberries coming out his ears, and he gave God the leftovers. We can't give God our leftovers. We have to give Him the best. We have to give Him our first fruits. And we don't most of the time, at least I don't. I mean, how often during the day do you stop and just hang out and pay attention with God? How many times do we just give Him the scraps at the end of the day? We talk to Him for 2 or 3 minutes before we fall asleep. Too often, that's what I do. And that's what Cain did. He gave God the scraps. But Abel gave him his first fruits. He gave him the very first lamb or the very first kid goat. He didn't know if there'd be any more. There was no guarantee that he'd get any more. He had to trust God that God was going to take care of him. And God knew that was a big sacrifice to give up that very first lamb or that very first goat. It's hard to do in case you don't get any more. So God knew that Abel really put a lot more thought and trust in him with his gift. And Cain was mad. Ooh-wee, was he mad. Probably throwing a big old fit. Or it was seething inside of him, and you could just tell he was shaken with anger. So let's talk about anger for a little bit. We all get mad. Everybody gets mad. Some people will pretend like they don't. They might shove it down. Nope, I'm a good person. I don't get mad. Everybody gets mad. Everybody. If they don't, then they're probably not telling the truth, or they're a saint, one or the other. But most people are going to get mad. And in fact, if you go to the very back of the Bible, to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26, it says, be angry. It's okay to be angry. Be angry. but do not sin. Don't sin. So it's what you do with your anger. Don't let the sun go down on your anger, and don't let the devil in to work on you. When we're angry, it's like a gateway drug. It can lead us to do all kinds of things that we don't want to do. And we have to really be careful with our anger. But it's not the anger that's bad, it's what we do with it. So let me give you a little example of something that just came up in my life. So I love to watch a YouTube channel, Jim and Amy. What's the name of their channel? Life Between the Ditches. And they take their Airstream and they go all over the country and have lots of really cool vacations. And they're going to British Columbia in Canada this summer. And they were in Montana, and they hadn't even planned on stopping at this campground. It was spur of the moment. It was a God thing. God sent them to this campground. So they were at this spur of the moment campground, and on their very last day, Amy heard somebody screaming, and it was probably a horrible screaming. So she ran to go see what was wrong. Does anyone need help? And I'm not going to tell you the whole story. If you want to watch it, it's a good story. Go to their YouTube channel, Life Between the Ditches, and check that out. But what happened was, and I'll give you the very short condensed version, there was a man in a trailer right next to theirs who was a veteran, a military veteran who lost a hand in combat. And he was having a lot of mental health struggles. And he went to the VA and he told them, and they said it's going to take 7 months to get in because they are overworked and understaffed. And he didn't have 7 months. He drank himself to death. He died of blood alcohol poisoning. And so Amy was talking about this on her video, and you could tell she was a little ticked off because this should not have happened. It should not have happened. And she was angry. And she was saying that he should have been able to go to any mental health professional and get help. And if the VA was too full, it should have been on the military's dime. They should have paid for it. Shouldn't have come out of his pocket. And so why is that anger good and other anger's bad? Well, her anger was out of love, compassion for another human being. And instead of yelling at people, she didn't yell at anybody. She didn't call anybody names. She didn't put the VA down. She didn't put the government down. She didn't start cussing out anybody. She didn't cause a riot. She didn't do anything like that. She just said, we need to love each other. We need to help each other. We need to step up for our veterans and get this problem solved. So she's trying to do something loving and kind, and she's asking other people to join in. That is taking your anger and doing something loving and kind with it. Too many times when we're mad, we just don't do loving and kind things. When I get mad, it's usually because, let me think, I didn't get my way, somebody didn't listen to me, I didn't get what I want. Why else do I get mad? I get caught doing something that I shouldn't have been doing. There's all kinds of reasons why we get mad. People just tick us off. And it's what we do with that anger that makes a difference. And so here's my suggestion to you. Take it or leave it. My suggestion is go to God. The second you feel like you're starting to get mad at somebody, take a breath and go to God and say, oh, dear Lord, I'm getting mad. I can feel it. I'm getting really ticked off at this person, and I don't want to. Please enter my heart. Touch my heart. Give me your peace and your wisdom and your love. Help me to love you and love other people. And you might have to say that 50,000 times. You know, you might have to keep going back to God and back to God. Depends on how deep that anger is. You got to keep going back to him. But little by little, he'll break it up and replace it with peace. That's what we need to do when we're angry. And then we need to take our anger and do what Amy did and turn it around See if we can't make something good come out of it. See if we can't love someone or help somebody instead of just yelling at each other and cussing each other out and causing a big ruckus. So that's my thoughts on anger. And sometimes that anger just feels like it's going to overwhelm you and it's going to take over your whole life, and it just dominates everything in your life and you can't get rid of it. Go to a mental health professional. Talk to them. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. Talk to people. Try to get help for that anger. Go to God and go to a mental health professional or a family friend, whoever it is that can lend you an ear and help you out. It's okay to go to God and go to a doctor. So that's my 2 cents on anger. Can't shove it down, can't ignore it. It's just gonna bubble up and explode. You gotta look at it head on, admit that you're angry, and go to God the second you realize it. As soon as you start feeling your frustration build, take a deep breath and go to God. That's not what Cain did. Spoiler alert. Well, teaser. We'll call that a teaser. We're going to find out next time what Cain did, what he did with his anger. But I hope today, as you go through your day, you take just a few minutes to think about somebody who you might be mad at. Talk to God about it. Pray with him. Ask him to touch your heart. Ask him to put peace and love and patience into your heart. And when you start to feel yourself a little bit angry, talk to God. Go to him. He wants you to. He wants to fix that for you so that you can love God and love each other. That's where Cain messed up. Wasn't that he got mad. Said he didn't love God and he didn't love other people. So I'm going to pray for you. And I don't say that lightly. I really will pray for everyone who watches this video, that the Holy Spirit just wraps you up in a warm blanket of love, wraps these arms around you and fills you with his love and his peace and his wisdom and his strength, and that he helps to take away some of your anger and frustration and leave just love in your heart. Sounds simple. It's a hard thing to do. It's hard to go to God when you're mad. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video today. Come back next time when we find out what happened to old Cain and Abel. Bye-bye, everyone.